What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be reviewing the new multiplayer maps for Black Ops 4. We have Artifact, Masquerade, and WMD. Now, although WMD isn't a new map since it's a remaster from a map in Black Ops 1, it's still a new map for Black Ops 4 specifically. But later in the video, we'll talk specifically about the controversy behind putting a remastered map in the Black Ops Pass. But starting off here with Artifact, my personal favorite out of this DLC and out of all Black Ops Pass multiplayer maps, this map has a really interesting layout. It's very different from other maps and has some beautiful scenery as well. This is obviously the map that was teased a couple of days before the Spectre Rising trailer when they showed the Odin statue, which confused a lot of people in the community as to what that would mean. So here on the map, you could actually find the Odin statue within some ice. You can also find the blueprints to the Odin statue in a tent. And in terms of what that actually means, I'm not sure if this is teasing a future Chaos Storyline zombie map or if it's just a map that is referencing the lore just for fun. We don't know just yet, but if I had to assume and give an educated guess, I would say the next Chaos Storyline map will be coming out in the next season for Black Ops 4, which is next year. So we're pretty far away from a release of a Chaos Storyline map, so I'm not sure if they're planning too far ahead for that content. But besides the map itself, it plays very well and I'm definitely having a lot of fun on it. But I wanted to voice my concern for the problem with DLC 3 right now. So if I'm correct, I could be wrong, but you guys can correct me down below in the comments. There was a map pack playlist for the other two multiplayer maps in DLC 1 and the other two multiplayer maps in DLC 2, but for some reason, for the one time when they released 3 multiplayer maps at once, there isn't a map pack playlist where you can just jump right in and try out these new maps straight away. There was a map pack playlist about a week ago, I think it was last weekend, when they were advertising that you can play the Black Ops Pass maps for free without owning the Black Ops Pass. And that was cool and all. It gave people an opportunity to play out those 4 maps. We had Lockup, Casino, Madagascar, and Elevation, but right when Spectre Rising came out, they just removed the playlist, and I'm like, why not just change the playlist into this DLC 3 multiplayer playlist where you can then play Artifact, Masquerade, and WMD straight away instead of going into random lobbies looking for these maps. So for a video that should have took me only a couple of hours to record, it took me a few days to actually get in some good matches on these maps, and it really did upset me because every time I would find these maps, no matter what mode it was, it would end up being a case where I'm with a pretty bad team while the enemy team is just sweating using LMGs, what was it, the target finder, thermals. It ended up being a case just like that every single time, and it was super frustrating just to try to play these maps. So with Black Ops 4, there are a lot of questionable decisions with what they're doing right now, and I'm not sure why they did that, but big shout out to Art42455, good friend of mine. I'll have a link to his channel down below in the description. He did share some gameplay with me that he also got here on Artifact, and I'll be placing that on screen, you know, in transition with mine. So definitely let me know what you think of that footage down below. But the other thing about Artifact that's really cool is that there is actually a slide. So if you climb this ladder, you can just go on this really cool slide. So if there are enemies camping at the bottom of the slide, you can start shooting them before you even get to the bottom. So pretty cool mechanic here on this map, I can't lie. But as I said, it's pretty frustrating trying to try out these new multiplayer maps and then just not being able to because you're relying on RNG from the map rotations to find these maps. So really questionable choice to not have a map pack playlist for the release of new maps when the whole idea of it is to kind of give multiplayer people some new content, some new experiences. If you're gonna do that, at least let the players try out these maps by having a playlist dedicated for them. But let me know what you think of that. It's very frustrating. But moving on to the map known as Masquerade. Now, this map is a pretty decent sized map. It has a pretty cool layout. The aesthetic's very fun, and obviously it's that actual tower or that skyscraper from the Spectre Rising trailer that the Spectre was actually standing on when he jumped down and killed those enemies as we saw. So pretty cool background, and it is the United States Embassy here around the area, so it has some similar assets, and if I would say reused assets to the map known as Lockup, since it has that real government giant security military feel to it with the vehicles, with the doors, with the desks and the offices. So it does have some reused assets in here, but the layout is pretty damn neat, and it reminds me of some fun Black Ops 2 multiplayer maps, like that paintballing map. I think it was called Rush. So some real fun maps. They don't have any serious tone to them, but definitely fit in with the story of the Spectre, and I think that's the main idea behind Operation Spectre Rising. It's all about the Spectre. There isn't a real designated vibe or a real focus on something else military related. It's really focused on the Spectre himself within these multiplayer maps, and even within Blackout when he blows up the Hydro Dam. So it's all about the Spectre this time around, and the operation obviously will be over with in about 28 days by the time this video actually goes up. But in regards to the camping spots on this map, so there really aren't too many spots to camp on Artifact, as you guys probably saw in the gameplay. Everybody's kind of roaming around. You kind of have the upper advantage if you're kind of jumping from cliff to cliff, and nothing really goes wrong. But on Masquerade, there are a lot of places for people to sit. So when you're playing hardpoint domination, mostly the entire team will be on that rooftop camping with LMGs, with other weapons. They'll be sitting in corners. This map does encourage camping quite a bit, and people will definitely be camping on the actual big float towards the middle of the map as well, which could be quite annoying, but that's where the Spectre comes in handy, because when you know people are camping in a certain spot, just throw that smoke at those campers. You can see them right through the smoke, go in and go for the kill, or even take out your blade and go for the kill as well. So I think the cool thing about the Spectre is that there are a lot of ways to counter campers now within Black Ops 4 multiplayer, and that's the whole point behind using the Spectre. So in regards to the Spectre himself, I also wanted to go into my little criticism for the specialist. So I definitely love the smoke grenade. It's a great idea. Obviously, they don't have the active camo for Black Ops 3, but the smoke grenade is a pretty cool replacement, since obviously Black Ops 4 is a prequel to Black Ops 3, so we're kind of degrading the technology a little bit and going a little bit back in time with what the possibilities are for these characters, so that's fine. But in regards to the sword itself, now, I have no problem with the lock-on feature, with the jumping and swiping. I've had a lot of fun using it in Bounty Hunter as well within Blackout, but when it comes to multiplayer, it needs a little bit of a buff when it comes to the armor protection that you get when you take it out, because as everybody knows, everybody on the map has a weapon. It could be overpowered, it could be underpowered, it doesn't matter what it is. You're running around with a sword, relying on people to either be turned around or to be looking at you but not hitting their shots, while you're trying to go up to them and slice them. Without any bit of armor, you're gonna get taken out in a couple of bullets, and it's very frustrating when you take it out and somebody with a pistol 3-shots you. Like, really, man? It just gets so annoying trying to do that. So especially on a mode like hardcore, you're gonna take the Spectre out, you're not gonna get any kills with it. You'll get 1 or 2 at most, but you're not gonna get an 11 kill feed on hardcore. It's just not gonna happen. But when you play core, at least you should be given a little bit of armor. Maybe not a huge buffed version of level 3 like in Blackout, but at least something close to level 2 so that you can take a clip or something before you actually die out, because it takes a minute to actually earn the sword in a multiplayer match. So to take it out and just to get shot across the map by a pistol is very demotivating. So at least a little buff is what I'm expecting in the next couple of updates for the Spectre, since once again he deserves a little bit of armor so that it is balanced between you being able to go up to people with the sword without getting shot by 3 bullets and just dying out. So let me know what you think of that feedback down below in the comment section. That's my only criticism for the Spectre specialist. But overall, he's a fun specialist to use, definitely a blast when going against campers, and obviously people have been getting some crazy kill feeds over on Twitter that I shared in the description as well if you guys are interested. But in regards to why I have a mix between core and hardcore gameplay, as I mentioned before, core can be pretty frustrating, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, but luckily I did get some good matches in while playing core. But for the little amount of time I got to play these new multiplayer maps, I tried my hardest in some of these matches, and obviously on core, it could be extra frustrating when you put a clip into somebody and you get nothing but hit markers and they just get you somehow their way. So that's why hardcore is probably the way to go when you want some smooth gameplay, when you want to go off real quick, and I do pretty well on hardcore, but unfortunately I wasn't able to find these maps too much on hardcore, which is why you do have some core gameplay here in this video. But other than that, we're going to be moving on to WMD, so the remaster from Black Ops 1. So it's not a remake, since there are no new aesthetics, no new storylines with the map like we got in Black Ops 2 and 3 with maps like Firing Range and Raid and some other maps as well. This is a direct remaster from Black Ops 1, so a very classic map. It looks absolutely beautiful and plays pretty smoothly exclusively here on current gen platforms. And my only criticism is the fact that they made it a part of the Black Ops Pass. They could have said, you know what, we have 2 new Black Ops Pass maps this operation, and because you guys are a great community, we're going to give you guys a free new multiplayer map, which is a remaster from Black Ops 1. That would have had no controversy behind it whatsoever. Everybody would have loved that decision, but for some reason they said, you know what, we're going to say, you know what, you guys want more multiplayer maps, whatever, we'll add 1 more in there for you guys, but guess what, it's a remaster. So I'm not sure how people feel about that right now, but I know for the majority, people were pretty upset when they announced that, because you're paying, was it $40 to $50 for a Black Ops Pass, expecting new multiplayer maps. They were originally going to get 16, since every other season pass promises 16 new multiplayer maps, but ever since World War II, we got shafted down to 12, so we're already down 4 maps, and it happened again with Black Ops 4. So then for one of those maps to be a remaster or a remake and not a new experience, definitely pissed people off. But after the release of Spectre Rising, I'm not sure how people feel about WMD anymore, but I'm sure people are still upset about this. It is pretty annoying to pay money for remastered content, since Black Ops 4 already has a lot of recycled content in Blackout. Even in multiplayer, we had 4 remastered maps at launch in the base multiplayer maps. We even have remastered content in Zombies, and just about everywhere in this game. The whole game is almost structured around remastered and recycled content, which isn't always a problem if they do it in the right way, but I think with some of the work ethics from Activision, some of their decisions, it's been a real Debbie Downer looking at all the remastered content that Black Ops 4 does have. But overall, the map is really fun to play. Let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section. If I had to tell you guys my honest opinion about DLC 3, it's that this is the best set of new multiplayer maps in this game right now. I thought the first set was alright. Madagascar and Elevation were interesting maps, cool scenery, but definitely didn't play too well. But I thought Casino and Lockup were really epic and definitely stepped it up in compared to those first 2 maps. But when it comes to Masquerade and Artifact and WMD, these are some great maps that play very well with the Black Ops 4 movement system and with the specialists. It's a great set of maps, and my absolute favorite map right now is definitely Artifact out of all the Black Ops Pass maps that we've gotten so far. But this has been dkdynamite. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and turn notifications on to stay up to date with latest and greatest Black Ops 4 gameplay news and coverage, and peace out, everyone.